my video footage because I got footage of me them throwing tear gas on me.
Wow.
You'll see it. I'm running, and you'll see the tear gas bottles bouncing in the back. And then I just missed a giant explosion that happened near our house when they threw a tear bomb. I thought we got blew up by a grenade. We all ducked to hit the ground. And then people were hiding in our backyard, and people were ducking in the backyard. And then what was crazy is that the police came following us. They came on our yards looking for them. What did they do? They didn't do nothing. Y'all threw the damn fucking tear gas.
This is Gagne. I'm on the line with NDURE, who's on the ground in Ferguson, Missouri. He's giving us a first eye account about what's going on what life is really like there right now. Yeah. So tell me what's currently what the situation currently looks like on the ground right now.
All right. Currently, right now, I'm actually on the street that's had the most of the activity. It's a residential neighborhood, and what I'm trying to stress to you, Gagne, is that this neighborhood is, if they're trying to portray it like Beirut, it's not. It's a residential area with I think it's like 57% black population, and it's quiet, plain and day, green grass, fences. But as soon as you step out into my backyard, it's a main street, and I can look down to the right and I can see supporters already gathering. Now in the daytime, you don't think anything's going to happen. I mean, the tone, the sense of people when you're driving down the street, everyone's just, the pride and the support is tremendous. You know, the response of, when you put your hands up, everyone just automatically says, don't shoot. But if you look down, you don't know what's going to happen. It starts off just as a protest. I believe the family members are still down there. I can see it from now. And then throughout the day, it starts to build and starts to gather. And then blocks away from here is the Ferguson Police Department, where you constantly, that's where the media is, and that's where that has been going on 24/7. That's not going to stop. As of today, I was speaking to a few people. I was up early in the morning. They're saying they're going to riot probably today. I mean, see, it starts like that. You know, it looks like it's going to be nice, but then you hear the tone that these people are upset. You know, Ferguson is upset that the portrayal of Mike Brown is that he was this young thug and that he was going to rob a liquor store before 2 days before he was going to start college. I mean, I went down to the actual place where he was murdered and shot, and if you would ask everyone around, they were like, they shot him in cold blood. I mean, it's crazy. So, and then they found out that I guess I probably have to have a change of venue. It just looks like it's going to be, it's a proceeding. It just reminds me of being in Los Angeles during the riot, the whole trial with Stacey Koon and all what was happening and transpired with a change of venue and the racists and the bigot. The DA is a bigot out here. It's a known fact. He's a bigot, and I believe his father was killed by a drunk driver or something of that extent by a black man. So, and I didn't realize that, you know, Missouri is a pretty racist state. I mean, some of the laws that they have in effect, and it's bizarre. Coming from the city and coming out here right now at this time, and weighing it towards, you know, New York and LA, we really feel like in Jim Crow times right here.
Wow.
The other night,
that's crazy.
The other night, it started off as a peaceful protest. We were all on the side of the street, and these tanks, when the army comes and they're pointing, when they have militarized vehicles and they have sniper guns pointing at you, and I'm like a tourist, and my sister lives in this particular neighborhood, so if I walk out and I'm going down the street to the store, there was a sniper pointing at me. And people were just, no one was even talking to the police, and it happened the whole night. And then the other night, it just got really scary when they started launching tear gas into the crowd, and there were children in the crowd, there were mothers in the crowd. It was a peaceful protest. You know, it was all right to assemble. You know, it was a peaceful gathering, and it was bananas. So that started. You know, it was just chaos. It felt like martial law. You know, as I tried to step out into my yard, the helicopters, well, it was a no-fly air zone, so there was no media coverage. They were chasing reporters, locking reporters up in front of me. They tried to come on my lawn and force me into the house, I stood my ground and said I have a right to this private property. I haven't done anything. I'm blocks and blocks away from anything that happened.
So taking it back a little bit, we know that this happened because an unarmed team, Michael Brown, or Mike Brown, as it's been reported in the media, was shot by a law enforcement officer or a peace officer, and he was lying in the street dead for hours, and the residents in the area and witnesses basically say that he was stepping back and his hands was in the air and he was unarmed. He was surrendering, and he was like some people say, executed in broad daylight, and he was lying in the street for hours. So all of this happened. All of this tension is in the area because of that, and the citizens want answers from their local government, law enforcement agency, to see what's going on. And instead of that, it's like they get a military response. So, and I happen to know that you were traveling to the area and you were going there on something unrelated, and all of a sudden you step into this powder keg. So if you could tell a little bit more about the backstory and then go from there.
Well, excuse me. Well, I mean, just from a how about we just play it like this to the audience, to our listeners? Just common sense, to just being a tourist. Then you walk in and you hear what happens. The first thing you ask is, okay, well, are charges being brought up against the officer? Was the boy attacking the guy? Now, this can't be true. I was playing devil's advocate. So he had to have a police record. Never had a police record. Was he in school? Nah, the guy was getting ready to go to school in 2 days. What really happened, man? Tell me, man. I'm talking to the guys right in the... He wasn't from this... He wasn't even from this area, from this particular area. I'm right blocks away from where this happened. And the kids are like, he just came to hang out with his grandma, man. You know, and you know, and besides that, the tension, but I'm asking people and asking the citizens from a broad range, and they're all saying the same thing. And I said it myself. Well, at the end of the day, I'm asking my questions, doing my little investigation. I said, it didn't matter if he had a gun. I mean, it didn't even matter. He didn't have a gun. He didn't have a gun. I didn't care if he was a criminal, if he done just, you know, it didn't make sense the way they're saying. They try to say they had him in the police car. The officer first said he had him in the police car, and he tried to struggle for the gun. Well, shoot him in the police car, or hold him in the police car. So it just makes sense. It goes along with the story of that, and you could see how I see the situation, man. I see how he's laying right in the middle of the street. They show you where the cop came. I mean, it's just straight execution. Shoot him. Shoot him. Let's shoot him, and then let's say that he attacked us. So 2 days later, now the officer's saying that he has visible bruises and scars. It may take 2-3 days. You can make up anything after that. Right. You know, they should have immediately said the officer's in the hospital, or whatever the local hospital or St. Louis hospital, being treated for cuts and bruises from the altercation that occurred when this young man, this giant kid, you know, that just grabbed the officer's gun. Come on, man. It's just starting to... It's a cycle, man. It's spreading everywhere. So I'm hearing also that because of that situation, you know, everybody is uptight. You know, you can't walk around because there is a huge police presence in the area. And so that just adds fuel to the fire. Well, that was the original. Last night was a great protest. I took part of a giant protest. They said that citizens there said they've never seen a response like this great, this strong, unifying. You know, you see strength and power in numbers. You see humanity. You know, people are binding themselves together with this. But at first, I know that night when I arrived, when they came out with tanks and officers and had guns pointing at you and batons and SWAT gear, it just intensified the situation. And, you know, you always have a knucklehead here and there. But, come on, they threw a water bottle. That was the extent. Then they tried to say about a Molotov cocktail. No one got hurt. But the way they responded like we were in Palestine. I mean, they're worried about Palestine right now and Israel. I mean, it felt like that at night. So yesterday, you couldn't find a cop anywhere. You couldn't find law enforcement anywhere, nowhere to be found. And it was the greatest march that I took part in. There was no incidents at all. We didn't. So when they come, it's great. But walking down the street today, they brought in state officers in the highway patrol. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but I would think you would have community-based policing, but obviously that's not the situation. If you had better community-based policing, the situation could be resolved or it won't be such tension. But right. I asked the officer since I'm new here, I said, can I, they're all friendly, they're kind of like nervous, the cops are pretty nervous, and these guys seem pretty nervous, and I said, there's a store, I'm new around here, there's a store, they didn't know. As we don't live here, we don't know what, since we were just brought in here. And I said, what was the reasoning behind that? And I was left with no question, no response. So they just sat there, they were still trying to figure out what a local store was, and I just proceeded to walk. So today it's weird. You never know. You're talking to people outside, they're upset, they're angry. You can start to hear probably horns in the background as we speak. It's gonna get heavier and heavier through the weekend goes if they don't get any answers. And the funeral hasn't even took place yet. So the kids, they're waiting. People are upset when the funeral comes. There's still any answers by that time it hits, this you're waiting for. It is a powder keg.
And so it seems like if the officers weren't treating the community like they were under siege and basically was giving out answers and those in authority would have come through and say that an investigation is going to be conducted, and here's our office, here's the numbers to call to report what you've seen, let's take statements, it probably wouldn't have even escalated to the point. And then it also appears, from what I'm hearing, like from you and from others and other reports, is that there's a few like knuckleheads that are doing things, and the people are basically punished as a group because of a few individuals, and
right.
And so it seems like that's what's happening.
The media really needs to come down here and see and talk. We all know it, the perception of young brothers or what they're just, man, it's just Jim Crow, man. It's just every stereotype, anything, it's just ignorance, man. It's right. Ignorance, it's the media, it's portrayal, it's perception, it's the lack of sitting here and seeing that these brothers, man, don't have resources out here, man. The job, the economy, you could blame and point at everything, but, right now, I'm fearful. I'm coming from L.A. The attitude with these police officers, if I lived out here, if they're shooting me like that just for standing up, I didn't even say anything, and they had guns in my face. I mean, the brother turned around, visited his grandma,
And you saw snipers and all kinds of stuff.
No, it was very intimidating seeing the SWAT. I mean, we didn't understand who he was pointing the guns at.
Hold on real quick. You okay? Okay. All right. What was that? About the snipers?
He was sitting down on top of the truck, and Indian style, and he was just aiming it, pointing it at us, and they were just sitting there. And we're standing there saying, justice for right, and exercising our right, so-called as American citizens, and they were just, you couldn't even walk by them. You couldn't get 10 feet with them. People had to get to their homes. And this is just a demonstration on the sidewalk.
So did it look like one of those things, when someone from the Western world want to invade a foreign country or something, they say, oh, the people are assaulting their own people and stuff like that, because right. Was it reminiscent of like one of those situations of, you see the people out and then people from the Western world take it to, they demonize the government of another country, but here we see the same thing. We see a militarized police force that's not working in harmony with the citizenry, but they are looking at things as a us versus you type situation.
Hey, I always say you killed 77 million Native Americans in some hundreds of years. You move them to the first prison camps. You call them reservations, call them what you want. Well, you put the Japanese in a concentration camp. You're telling Latinos now they can't come over here when immigrants that come from Scotland. I mean, it's just, and then they showed you right here in the ghettos of Ferguson in the Midwest and the so-called ghettos. They're trying to portray it like this is a nice, hard-working class. These are people that are part of the engine that fuels this economy and are taxpayers and voters. And these are good, hard-working people, man. And you know, it's sad that there's a sense of a militarized. That night, I thought I was in a foreign country.
Wow.
I said, damn. I mean, I thought I had this little arrogance too. That got checked real quick. You know, I'm from Los Angeles. I'm not even from here. That guy had that gun in my face so fast, telling me to get back up into the house. I was like, damn, you know, this is pretty wild. Pretty wild. And then, you know, they snatched that. I saw reporters getting arrested. So, and they knew all their rights. You know, they had the freedom of speech and this and that, and just tagged them up, tied them up.
Wow. Well, on that note, I want to stop this recording, getting the first-hand ground experience, eye view of the situation, and I want to check in with you periodically to get an update on the situation there, so we can post it so people will know the real situation on the ground and what things really look like and who the people are of Ferguson, so they don't have to be portrayed in the media as, you know, some project field place that it's just a bunch of thugs running around. Because that's what some of the media is showing it as.
They're scared kids here, man. They're scared young kids that had guns and tear gas thrown at them, you know. So if that's their response to trying to alleviate the tension in the air, you know, they're going to have to do something. And the people want answers, and people want justice, and we need to find out what happened. And this cop his name needs to be released. And the mother, imagine just being the mother. I mean, just who is the person that shot my son, and why did you do it, and what happened? You tell me. And the cops need to let that happen. Politicians, all these governors. And I'm putting a call out, because the Midwest, all these celebrities and entertainers, these are your fans. These are the ones that go and see your movies. When you're driving around the Sunset or you're hanging out in Soho, you need to come out here and see your fans and your audience, man. You need to come support your people, man. You know? People need to converge on here and really show that this is a serious situation, man. It's sad. And look at all the other deaths that happened in a matter of months. So something's going on.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's endure.
Endure. Music and straight television, art before industry. I'm trying to go to a store and it's still closed. Is it closed? I don't know. Damn.
Yeah, so we're going to check back in with you later on today and get another first-hand account of what the current situation is. That's Endure,
okay.
Music and Strength on the ground in Ferguson, Missouri.